following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to our review show here of Big Time Wrestling's Return of the Dragon from the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina on November 27th. I'm one of your hosts, Karlifornia. This is Jooseyboy. How are you going, dude?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat! Fucking Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Arm drags. I'm fucking pumped up. I'm pumped up. Today, we witnessed a return to the ring for the first time since 2009 for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah, that's what we did. We did
here
do that.
In 2022. Your ears and your eyes do not deceive you. Big Time Wrestling, franchise Shane Douglas, and some other dude on the booth. I didn't really take his name down.
I've taken his name down.
But yeah,
he did my job. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. Here we go. Let's get into it.
Yeah, no, we will get into it in just a minute. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry that this review didn't come out as early as it should have. But I was awaiting a Jooseyboy's password on Fight TV because we're not both gonna buy it. I mean, are you out of your mind? So he bought it several hours ago, and geez, must have been 6 hours and
I had to go to work.
6 hours and 14 minutes ago, I had asked for the password so I could start watching the show.
I gave it to you.
And he could not remember his password.
I gave it to you.
Useless.
It just turned out that okay, here's what ended up happening. I went to give Karlifornia the password and the login details for my Fight TV account, which I generously was going to allow him to watch the event on, even though I paid for it, not him. And see, I had forgotten that my Fight TV account is linked directly to my Gmail account. So I'm giving him the right password at the time, but it was never going to work because he was trying to log in directly through Fight TV because he's a stupid fucking idiot.
No, you're an idiot. You should
that's
know that beforehand. How am I the idiot? That's your fuck.
So anyways, Big Time Wrestling. Quite an interesting
you're a
card.
big time piece of shit. But yeah, you're right, bro. So what a great
it was a pretty interesting card. I won't lie. It was.
Oh yeah, was it?
Yeah,
I'm going to be writing you this whole review. You're done,
so
mate, right?
Nothing's really changed then from.
No. I take it easy with you. Most of these reviews, you interrupt me every 15 seconds. So wait on this time. I'm interrupting you. Okay.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to start off here by talking about this. There's a battle royal for the pre-show here for Big Time Wrestling here for the Return of the Dragon. And Jooseyboy, I want you to have the floor here.
Yeah, okay.
So you know what? Actually, I'm going to chime in right now and talk about my thoughts on the match because I think actually I just really feel like it's important that I talk about it. But
that's a bit rude.
I turn on the show and the first thing I see is Scott Steiner throwing a bunch of ham and eggers out of the battle royal. That's what I want to see. Yeah. That fixed my mood because I was in a bad mood because Jooseyboy is a useless son of a bitch. So it must be a nice payday for somebody who's not going to take any bumps or get into actual proper ring gear. Loving it. Steiner wasn't even trying, just dumping these guys out. Dreamer's in there as well. Tommy Dreamer's in there. He's also eating up these ham and eggers. Hits a big DDT. Tommy, I hate your pants, bro. Scott Steiner wins. Thank God this battle royal ended early, Jooseyboy, because we've seen a few in the last few months and we haven't been entirely chuffed with them because a lot of them take way too long. I also popped for Scott Steiner just beating people up around the ring, including a referee, which was sick. Yeah. And Shane Douglas on commentary is a fantastic choice. Jooseyboy, what did you think of this little battle royal that lasted about 90 seconds?
Well, I think as an actual match, obviously it was dog shit. I'm giving it a rating of a special Jooseyboy rating of NA because I don't think a rating is applicable for it. Having said that, though, it was a ton of fun. It was not meant to be a serious battle royal of any kind. It was meant to just be a fun little thing to get the legends out there and some cannon fodder for them to throw around. I think that they did that. They accomplished that. I don't know, man. I've never been the biggest Tommy Dreamer guy, and now I'm just feeling like not only did you get fat as fuck and get out of ring shape, and you've been working out of ring shape for the past 10 years, but now you've also got a top knot, and he looks even slower and more gassed than he did 10 years ago when I was watching him in TNA. So I could have done with less Tommy Dreamer. It was more like Tommy Nightmare in this match, but Scott Steiner's performance I thought was fantastic.
Unbelievable. I can't believe you would dare disrespect a man of the caliber of Tommy Dreamer. Okay, I don't like his pants, and there you are fat shaming him. How dare you?
No, it's fuck him. All right, let's
Okay, so the commentator that you didn't care to learn the name of his name is Joe Dombrowski, right?
Oh, sweet.
I don't know if you know this. Do you remember this? Surely you know this one. Joe Dombrowski was infamously the guy that interviewed Kevin Nash when he was eating that fucking ravioli.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I remembered him, so I was ready to pick on him this whole show, but to be perfectly honest with you, I thought he did a great job. And Shane Douglas should be a color commentator for a major company. He's already sold me. Get rid of Corey Graves, heat Wade Barrett with Michael Cole, put Shane on SmackDown with whoever. I'm down with Shane Douglas as a commentator.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he's somebody that WWE would probably, unfortunately, I don't think they'd look at him, but I definitely think Impact Wrestling or even like Ring of Honor, he's available. Think about picking him up, because we will say it here to just get out of the way. He knocked it out of the park on commentary through this whole event.
Absolutely. It's that heel commentator, heel color commentator you're looking for, right?
And he did it properly, and he took it seriously, and he said everything he needed to say as the heel commentator without burying anyone.
Yeah, exactly. He did a really good job. I was really impressed, and it was just like a light bulb moment for me.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't realize he was that good on the booth.
It was like watching Wade Barrett on NXT for the first time with Vic Joseph. I was like, oh my God, Wade Barrett's fantastic. So
because it's you know what else that we should crucially mention, man? It's that balance between being the heel announcer but not trying to get yourself over with it as well. Like, if you go back and watch this show after our review, or if you already have seen it, you'll notice that Shane Douglas didn't need to constantly make himself the center of what he was saying, because he already knows that he's the franchise Shane Douglas, and that's why he's commentating. So he doesn't feel like he needs to take the thunder away from anything else that's happening. So just a little tip that might be helpful for Corey Graves, who I feel sometimes tries a little bit too hard to be funny and be the center of attention. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no worries, bro. And by the way, Matthew Rehwoldt is doing a great job at Impact Wrestling. He doesn't need to be replaced by Shane, but Shane he would fit in, maybe MLW. I don't know what their situation's like, but anywho, okay. First matchup here on the show, Matt Hardy on the main show. Matt Hardy takes on Crowbar, and at ringside with him is a mix of Conrad Thompson and Braun Strowman. That's what I wrote first. I did not know his name until the commentators finally brought me up to speed. But this was the first time that these two have actually ever wrestled one-on-one, or in any match whatsoever. So Jooseyboy, okay, I won't interrupt you. I'll let you take this one. What did you think of the first match of the main show here?
Dude, I'm honestly going to tell you this, man. This is not a troll. I really want to hear what you think of this first, because out of the two, because you grew up in this time. So when I saw this match advertised as being part of the show, I was like, man, here's these two guys from the 90s, kind of like tag teamers, mid-carder. How have these two never wrestled before? They've never crossed paths in their entire careers. I was fascinated by that, because like it just seemed like such a weird and out of nowhere match. And I wanted to know, as somebody that watched WCW when Crowbar was in his prime, and obviously has seen Matt Hardy through his prime, what did you personally feel sort of when you saw that this match was happening?
When I give my thoughts, if you cut me off to try and get back one over on me,
I'm going to be quiet.
I'm going to make the rest of the review so painful.
This is not a joke, seriously.
All right, Luke, if he does it, edit it out. For me, this is a WWF and WCW mid-card. Never thought it would be a dream match. Because all these years later, these two guys that were on the shows of the Monday Night Wars at the same time, they never crossed paths. Crowbar never got to be a part of the invasion angle. To see these two mix it up was interesting for me. And I'm sure they booked this on purpose because of that. And I do believe Crowbar has said in a few interviews, unfortunately not with me, but in a few interviews recently, he's got these guys on a bucket list that he wants to tick off that he hasn't had the chance to work with. And just to see Matt Hardy working on the show is great. AEW are barely doing shit with him, so he may as well get some other bookings. And before anyone else goes, oh, he's mentoring Private Party, like he already had them in HFO how long ago? Now he's a babyface. And when was the last time you really heard anything of Private Party? And sorry, the YouTube shows don't count. So anyway, good to see Matt Hardy out here. Crowbar still has some juice in the tank. And I'm saying it right now. I think Impact Wrestling, who are perfect for people like Crowbar, should bring him in. Or the NWA. He'd be great there. So this big guy at ringside that I called a mix of Conrad Thompson and Strowman. Percival, I believe was his name. I don't know who he is, but he popped me when he went down twice at ringside. I don't know why. It's just because he was such a big guy and the way that he tumbled down because of Matt Hardy's antics made me laugh. I will give props again now here to Joe Dombrowski and his knowledge. I really like the fact that he brought up several things from the past about these guys. The superplex right there between the two of them show that these two are still willing and able to take big time bumps. I thought they worked well together. There was a Hurricane Rana, unfortunately, that Crowbar hit on Matt Hardy, and Matt did not land very well on that bump. But I appreciated how hard they were going for it. And this was a true good opener for a show like this. There was a situation with Crowbar having a chair handed to him by, let's look at his name again.
It's Percival, bro.
Percival? Is it Vol or Bull?
I think it's Percival.
Okay.
Maybe with a V.
Okay. V1. So that happens. And because of that, Matt Hardy manages to hit the twist of fate and pin Crowbar for the win. And I bet Hardy went over because Tony requested he wins. Just saying. I'm guessing. Because I would have liked to have seen Crowbar win. But anyway, Jooseyboy, your turn. What did you think of this one?
I think that this is, it's a shame that this took place in kind of a mini dream match type scenario here, like kind of as an attraction match, because I think that the match that we witnessed here was these two guys kind of working with each other for the first time and feeling each other out. And I enjoyed the match, and I'm going to give it a B-. I thought that it was pretty much what I was expecting, but I actually got the feeling from watching it that because they're both so experienced and stuff, they could probably even take it up another notch if they had another one or two opportunities to wrestle each other, perhaps a bigger audience or a bigger venue. Because what I saw was like, yes, people out there are going to point to it and they're going to rightfully probably say, oh, look at the way that he landed on that Hurricanrana, referring to Matt Hardy here.
Yeah.
Look, he's clearly lost a step and stuff like that. Yeah, he is older and stuff. But what I saw from this match was that he's very good at working an old school psychology based match. And because of all of his crazy gimmicks and whatnot, he's over now. So they don't need to do as much as they even did for it to be a passing grade. Like by the time he hit the side effect in the match, I already considered it by that point to be like, all right, I'm happy with what we got from this match. But then it got even a little bit more hectic beyond that point. So, I actually think that I'm not going to go ahead and give it a rave review because I think that this actually, if anything, it looked like it sort of jump-started the motor of Matt Hardy a bit, and it was like a good solid opponent that he could work with, because it was someone of a similar age and position in their career. Yeah.
And it's kind of like we both know that this was probably 25% of what they would have been able to do back in their prime in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Like there's another 75% that we could have got if they were still in their prime. But the 25% we did get did not offend us. It was fantastic. And it just goes to show how good would have it been 20 odd years ago. So anyway, let's move forward. Nice little moment here with our friend, Mr. Nikita Koloff, making some comments about the Dragons' final match.
Yeah.
Earl Hebner shows up, very nice. Tatanka, bro, great head of hair. At his age, he's doing well. An easy motherfucking E with some comments as well. Very nice stuff. That's great. That's why, WrestleCade is really a good thing, because you have all these people in one place at one time, and you have a show like this the day after. You're going to get some great cameos like that. So anyway, let's move forward here. I'm going to let you take the floor here, bro. NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line. The new champion, Kerry Morton, who we witnessed win this belt from Homicide at the recent NWA pay-per-view, defends against Brian Pillman Jr. What did you think, Juicy Boy?
Well, I think the first thing that needs to be said right here, right now, and I know you're going to agree with me. I'm certain of it, man. What the fuck are they doing with Brian Pillman Jr. in AEW? Look at the shape that he's in. He now looks like a young Brian Pillman, his father, but he works with his own style. Why is he not already a heel in AEW? Like, why was he not doing the heel stuff that he did here? It was not exactly the same kind of antics that his father used to do, but he had the same kind of attitude and aura about him when he was delivering the heel antics, and that's something that you can't teach. And I don't understand why AEW, and you can say that I'm bitching about it and trying to find a way to work him into another review. This is not a joke. When I watched this match between these two people take place at this event, I wondered why Brian Pillman Jr. is not already being positioned as a future contender for MJF's newly won AEW World title. I don't understand what the fuck that company has been doing, not using him when he comes out here against Kerry Morton, and just basically, it wasn't a 5-star match, but this was everything that you'd expect for a mid-card title between these two young up-and-comers. They're both second-generation talent. They're both still in the earlier stages of their careers. They fucking killed it, man. You can it's once again, it's almost a similar, the inverse of what we just saw with Matt Hardy versus Crowbar. We had two people again that they're far enough along that they know how to work a match. So they don't necessarily need one dancing partner to be the leader. But now you've got these two kids that are, again, similar age, a lot of parallels between them. And they obviously went out there and wanted to prove something in their match. And I think this very nearly was match of the show. Like, the counters and stuff that we saw were really good, from Kerry Morton especially. So I think technical wise, I think Kerry Morton is really smooth, and I see a lot of Ricky Morton. I see a lot of other people in him as well. Like, he just that classic mat wrestler. I get a lot of that vibe from him. And then Brian Pillman Jr., he held his own in the ring, but I think he's in the best shape that I've seen him in so far, physically, his look. And I think that his actual character work in this match was what brought it to that next level, because it gave Kerry Morton that little spark, that little kick in the ass of being like, hey, this guy's actually a fucking dickhead, and I'm not going to let him embarrass me in my first title match within the kayfabe. And it all worked really well. I'm going to go ahead and give it a C+. It would have been a B were it not for the fact that I felt like it could have gone just a fraction longer. I know you don't normally hear us say that, oh, we would have liked the match to go longer, but sometimes, championship match, probably the closest thing to a pure singles wrestling match we were going to get on this card. I would have enjoyed seeing an extra 2 or 3 minutes, added onto it when all was said and done.
Very good, bro. While you were talking about all that stuff with Brian Pillman Jr., I decided to go on cagematch.net and see what the situation is with him and Griff Garrison, right? Because I know that Brian Pillman Jr. And Griff Garrison had Julia Hart bail on them.
Yeah.
And join the House of Black, right? So, okay, they've had 2 matches on that show, 1 apiece. Okay, so excuse me, everyone. I just thought this was really important and really interesting to talk about, considering Juicy Boy, when we watched Ric Flair's last match, that show, and Brian Pillman Jr. tagged with Brock Anderson on that show against Kerry and Ricky Morton, how fucking impressive was Brian Pillman Jr. as a heel there?
Yeah, very much so. And he showed it again here in this match.
Yeah, okay. So this year, Brian Pillman Jr. has wrestled on Dynamite 7 times in nearly, 52 weeks. 7 times, 0 wins. He's wrestled 8 matches on Dark. He and Griff lost to Cole Carter and QT Marshall on the 21st of October this year, and that's the last time that they've been featured in AEW since late October.
And by the way, and just even just you saying that right there, that not only does that blow me away, but it's like, where the fuck is QT Marshall and Paul White been since that pay-per-view match they had years ago now? Like, where are all these people?
I know the factory won the last pre-show or whatever, 0 hour for the pay-per-view for that fucking 10-man tag, which was a waste of fucking time. But they've just been on the YouTube show. They've had 8 matches on Dark and 2 on Elevation, and they've even lost a match on Elevation. So it's just, to me, that is fucking such a waste of time when you have someone who has so much promise like Brian Pillman Jr. And it's just, to me, I don't know what that fucking dude over there is doing, but he's wasting this young guy. And my first note that I had written down here, bro, was Brian Pillman Jr. should go to WWE, start in NXT, go up to the main roster in a year. He's 29 years old now. He's getting to that point now where he's about to hit his 30s. He's got to get to the main show now. Stop messing around. He's had like 7, 8, 15, 17 matches this year in AEW.
It's not enough. Fuck? It's not enough. He's not a 20-year-old kid that's only just been broken in, a year or 2 before, that happens to be this famous wrestler's son. Yeah, it's bullshit. But let's just say that he wrestled one of the best matches. I think both these guys wrestled one of the best matches of their young careers. And I definitely want to see a bigger stage, especially for Brian Jr., than the one that he's in now.
Yeah, and I think he comes across better on the Ric Flair's last match, this match here, where he can just do whatever it is that he wants to do, and we see a better side of him. Yeah. Anyway, I'll run through my short amount of notes for this match. I did pop for Kerry Morton smacking Brian Pillman Jr. on the ass. This is their 3rd singles match together, so they worked together a couple times in a bunch of other tag team matches as well. Another comment that I had to mention, I love Shane Douglas's fake laugh. That he does a great job with it. It's almost as good as Ted DiBiase's. Another comment, I think I said it last time when we talked about Kerry, he should work on his upper body. He's a young man still, but I assume within the next few years, he should try and match what Brian Pillman Jr. is doing with his workout. I think, and man, how much does Brian Pillman Jr. look like his dad now? Like, honestly.
But still different enough that it's distinct from his dad as well. That's the other thing too. You wouldn't directly confuse Junior and Senior if they were next to each other in the ring, but that's a good thing. There's enough resemblance there, but it's not too much that it's gonna pull down Brian Pillman Jr. should he try to go to that next level.
Boom, exactly. And not much else to say here. It was a nice fast-paced match. There was nothing stupid that happened. Kerry hit the big knee for the win. I know it's got a name, but I've forgotten. And afterward, great to see Brian Pillman Jr. low blow him and lay him the fuck out. Good shit. Let's move forward, bro. Briscoe's with a promo from their chicken farm. I think they're the best tag team in the world still. And if I were WWE, man, I'd bring these guys in. I don't care that Mark Briscoe, was it Mark Briscoe?
Both of them.
He's the one that made one comment on Twitter 10 years ago.
Which
still go on about it, and he's learned from
But
that.
they apologized though as well. They apologized many times, and they didn't just apologize in a way of saying like, "Oh, we're sorry," like to cover their own asses. They legitimately came out and said the words. At the time when we made those comments, we genuinely believed that we were just standing up for our own religious beliefs. But now we see that it was wrong because
they've learned. They've learned.
Yeah, they've learned. They've matured. Now, I'm the first person to be like, you know what? If you're a bigot, fuck you. But the fact that they've owned up to it like men, and the fact that they've admitted to it, and not only have they admitted to it, they've doubled down on it. They've explained why they're sorry, and they've discussed it. This is not a case of people who deserve to be cancelled completely. I do believe that. I believe that there's a place for them on one of the mainstream promotions.
Absolutely, and it's a fucking waste when they're still in the prime of their career to not utilize them when you can.
They're at the back end. They're at the tail end of that prime, though. I know I'm cutting you off again, but that's a crucial thing as well.
They're cutting you off right here.
They're at the tail end of that prime, though, bro. They're in their. I'm pretty sure they're in their late 30s now. You could Google it, but
no, they're fine. They'll be fine for another 10. If I were WWE, I'd bring them in. Imagine the Usos versus the Briscoes. That's a match I want to see. I don't want to see the Usos wrestle all the same teams all over and over again. I want to see them and the Briscoes. Come on, Triple H, help me out here, bro.
Yeah,
one other thing I did pop for was Jay Briscoe yelling in the camera when he was holding a poster saying, "Who made this shit?" Every time they came back from a promo, the audio was out. Don't know what the issue was, but anyway, let's move forward. The next matchup is for the BTW Championship. Dani Miles, the champion, takes on I forgot his name now. Facade.
It was Facade, the Facade, not Ninja Facade.
I spelled it wrong.
All right. Facade. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to start? Go for it. All right. Okay. So, first of all, massive, huge pops for Teddy Long as the guest commissioner. Like, you see that advertised on the flyer. We all know what it is. It's going to be Theodore Long coming out there, possibly half-assing it, possibly not. Possibly he's going to have more of a fun attitude about it. Possibly he's going to take it really seriously. Here, what we ended up getting was somewhere in between. He came out for his little bit. He got his little pop. I popped for the little Theodore Long dance. He went out there. He hit that word player really hard. He brought out Neon Ninja. It elevated Neon Ninja a little bit, who's pretty much an unknown. I want to say a little story here because Neon Ninja has come a long way. I remember watching a CZW event, which I would have watched this back in about 2010, I want to say. So a long time ago now. John Moxley was also on that event. Kasabian, a number of wrestlers, indie wrestlers from that period. One person on this show was Facade, but he was in nowhere near as good a shape. And a lot of the stuff that he did was just so much sloppier. And it was like the spray painting thing on the signs that he did. There was a lot more focus on that element of it. There was a lot more focus on the ninja element of the personality. So to see him come out here for this match and accept this challenge, I liked that I was familiar with the guy, but I also loved seeing how far he matured as a performer. He still has a way to go. He's not really what I would consider a WWE Impact Wrestling level performer just yet. I'll say that about Dani Miles as well. I think that they're both perfectly serviceable wrestlers, but I think they're still in that point in time where you've either got to use them as enhancement or you've got to chuck them into a tag team somewhere if you're going to use them on a big stage. Because I don't think that, like, I didn't get the vibe watching this match, bro, that Dani Miles is necessarily used to being a ring general. But I think the potential is there. Like, when I watch Dani Miles, I see the potential for a C.W. Anderson type to develop from him. But it depends how old he is now. You know, it depends how long he's already been going.
He's 33.
Okay, so he still has shitloads of time then. That's good. Plenty of time. You know, and then Neon Ninja, I think he's in tremendous shape. I definitely think he's got a good look. I think that he's someone that may get some attention if people see him walking by, especially if he's showing off a bit of his physique. I'm going to give this match a C+. I admire the effort that these guys went to. But to bring it down to our local level, Carl, this is what I would have considered to be a very good quality match in kind of the mid-2000s era of local pro wrestling for our community. So, which is to say, not to take away from it, but it's not the same quality level as, say, Pillman and Morton was, where you could see these kids going to the big time in the future.
Yeah, no, good point. Good point. It did feel like this would be a match that if I went to my local indie, I'd see a match like this. And that's not a knock on them. Not a knock on them at all. But when I saw Danny Miles come out, I was like, he's pretty tiny. So I wrote, here's your chance, Danny. You know, a lot of eyeballs will be on this show because of the Dragon. So prove to me, prove to everyone that it doesn't matter how big you are. All right. I want to see how good of a worker you are. Really did love Teddy coming out, but I really thought because Teddy was coming out and it was an open challenge that he'd bring out somebody he used to manage who used to do an open challenge called the White Boy Challenge. So I thought Rodney Mack was coming out. So because of that,
would have been cool.
I thought it would have been cool, but because of that, I was disappointed that it was somebody that I'd never heard of before. Because I wrote down the Neon Ninja, who the fuck is that? And it's not a knock on you. I just never seen you before. I feel like I'm such an asshole when I don't know who people are. But I gave this match, I really did give this match a chance. Because the only person I knew in the ring was the fucking referee with the man bun from NWA. So not a bad start, very standard kind of match. I bet Facade likes to smoke a fuckload of weed.
He does, man. He does.
Quite clear.
That was evident in the indie show that I saw him on.
Right.
It was just clear that he was just a dude when he wasn't wrestling. So
yeah, fair enough. I did like his fire with his comeback, but his springboard moonsault in the ring was way off. But the burning hammer that he hit was, that was great. Dani kicked out. And I thought Dani's cannonball was one of the best cannonballs I've seen in a while. A lot of the recent cannonballs I've seen have been fucking shit. Hey, if you can't fucking hit it properly with a lot of ferocity and keep it safe, don't do it, okay?
Yeah.
Because if you do it sloppy, it looks like shit. There was a near fall with that gut buster from Miles, and I thought that was going to be over there, so they got me. Yeah. So even though I said that this is a match that I might see in my local indie, they got me. A lot of the time, I think I could see when the finish is coming, but they got me there. So that's a good thing. Danny Moe, the valet for Facade, getting involved with the DDT. Very nice stuff. There was a coast-to-coast drop kick, and Danny got his foot on the rope, which again was a nice bit of drama. And a good finish there. Danny obviously retains the championship for BTW. Good stuff. And look, I think they both did good. To the point where I was like, okay. I went from being that asshole that didn't know who they were to being okay with them. Something is not on Joe's format. And out comes a guy called Mr. TA. And I wrote, who the hell is Mr. TA? And one thing I want to say is it's a bit annoying when the microphone isn't coming through the Fight TV.
So annoying.
Into the arena, Fight TV. What's going on there? Why couldn't we get the feed through the mic through the actual feed? What's going on? I thought this was horrible, even though it was so nice to see Sgt Slaughter come out. He came out, he locked in that Cobra clutch. I'm sorry, I don't know Mr. TA. And I'm Jooseyboy. Usually, I'm not very harsh on a lot of people. Usually, I see things for what they are and I give things a chance. But Mr. TA, your selling was fucking dreadful of the Cobra clutch. You should have been like panicking.
Yeah, you should have been.
It looked like he was just looking around whilst he had this Cobra.
It should be like,
like he's dying.
You should be, like
he was looking around. Like it didn't seem like he was selling at all.
Anyone that's ever, like, if you know any rudimentary holds, like from catch wrestling or jiu-jitsu, and you've experienced somebody putting a choke on you,
He'd be like,
It doesn't just hurt; it's also a panic thing. Instinctually, your adrenaline system
hurt my neck.
But instinctually, when you're in a chokehold like that, your body should be telling you that you're in danger because you're about to die. So you thrashing and you're fucking, especially a guy like that in kayfabe has obviously no defenses. I kind of agree with you on the segment. I felt bad for disliking it. I feel like, because Slaughter comes, let me just set the scene for a second here. Like, because this Mr. TA guy comes out. You don't really know who he is. He's this older guy. Perhaps he's a gentleman doing a weekend gig as a heel manager or whatever. Good for him. If that's the case, that's nothing against him, but maybe they still should have put more prep into this little bit. He comes out, the mic's not really working, so even if he is saying something that would get him some heat, I'm not hearing it personally. I didn't catch it.
I couldn't really hear what he was saying.
I couldn't really make it out.
He wasn't talking very loud either, which didn't help.
Yeah, and he also didn't bother to go into the, like, obviously there's a reason he didn't go into the ring, because this whole thing took place in the aisleway. However, you know, he could have gone up to ringside and kind of moved around a little bit, like at least on that one side. And anyways, he's cutting the promo. You can't really hear it because of mic issues, and he's not projecting enough that you can even make it out, even though the camera's right up at his face. Like it's this shot that you guys are looking at with us. Slaughter shows up in the background. There's no real pop because the crowd's not order like mic'd up, so you can't really hear if they're reacting. Then TA goes up and shoves Slaughter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he shoved him.
And he goes and shoves him.
The shove Slaughter, was so fucking piss weak.
Hold on.
No, I'm saying it was piss weak.
It's not just that it was piss weak though. It was a piss weak. TA gives him a piss weak shove, which when he first did it, and I know it seems like we're breaking such a small thing down in detail, but these are the things that can make or break a show, seriously. Like, as dramatic as that sounds. So he shoves Sgt. Slaughter, and when he first does it, you're like, okay, it's this heel manager that's not a wrestler.
He's a wrestler.
He's a cage match. Yeah, he's obviously afraid to mix it up with Sgt. Slaughter, so he did a crappy little push. Sgt. Slaughter then didn't do anything, and then you can see TA lean back and draw back for the shot that he's planning on taking, which he knows Slaughter's going to duck, so Slaughter can put in the Cobra Clutch. But see, he doesn't realize that Slaughter's going to milk it for a minute. When he pushes Slaughter for the first time, Slaughter's kind of obviously going to let it build a minute and maybe make it be 2 or 3 shoves before that shot gets taken and the Cobra Clutch gets put in. But TA instead tries to jump the gun and goes for it straight away after the first little shove. So Sgt. Slaughter doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He doesn't know that they're going into the spot yet. And so then they're just awkwardly standing there looking at each other for a few seconds, because obviously TA is the person in this situation that's meant to be leading it, because Sgt. Slaughter's just out there having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So TA is now staring at Slaughter. Slaughter stares back at TA. TA then slowly takes a few steps over towards him without saying anything, shoves him lightly again. Then they do a very half-hearted ducking of a punch into the Cobra Clutch. It's always a treat seeing Sgt. Slaughter. It's never not a treat. But I'll say this. I don't need to see him put the Cobra Clutch in if it's going to be like that, and it's going to just make him look old and everything like that. And I don't mean that in an offensive way towards him. I'm just saying you can have him come out and just do a salute with that chin of his, or you can have him come out and clock somebody in the face, you know. But if you're going to do something like that with a gentleman of his age, and there's going to be physicality involved, it needs to be better thought out than that. So,
it needs to be with somebody like a Dolph Ziggler who is going to sell it like he's dying, not Mr. TA. And I'm sorry, if Mr. TA, I hope he never sees this because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but fucking dreadful, mate. Fucking dreadful. And I'm never usually that negative.
It looked like he didn't. You know what, man? I'm not wanting to be harsh on it either, because it was just meant to be a fun little thing.
Yeah.
But you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like some of the awkward things that would happen on local wrestling shows in our area that would make you kind of cringe. It felt like TA didn't really know what he was doing in this segment, and he was very awkward about it.
Or it's like he didn't have anyone that went through it with him. This is how you
No.
should sell. This is how you should
Yeah.
do this.
Like he didn't,
which is a problem with a lot of local companies here in our state, is the fact that they don't have that quality control and they don't say, look, this is how it has to be. Let's practice it. Let's make sure you're going to do it right. Anyway,
I mean, they all think they are their own quality control, but that's a whole nother thing for another fucking debate.
Yeah.
So
anyway, let's move forward, bro. Okay, the Rock and Roll Express are going to be wrestling here. They cut a little promo as well. It's the last time that they're going to be wrestling at the Dorton Arena. And they're taking on the Briscoes here, bro. So give me your thoughts on this match.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a C+. I'm giving it a C+, because out of respect for the Rock and Roll Express. But I'll be honest, even with the Rock and Roll Express's age, I was actually expecting a tiny bit more. Not because they didn't work really hard and that they didn't do well enough, but the stuff that they did, it's weird. They pulled off what they wanted to do, but there was, what was the word that I want to use? It wasn't sloppy as in it was poorly executed or unsafely done. It was clunky. There are a couple of spots executed where it was like, well, why are they kind of in the corner of the ring instead of the center of the ring? And there was a couple of things where, like the finish, like Ricky does his big Canadian Destroyer pile driver, which for those who are not in the know and maybe haven't watched wrestling since the 80s, well, Ricky Morton in his more recent later part of his career has sort of co-opted one of these big flipping pile driver moves that you see the young kids do, because the receiver of the move actually creates all the momentum. So a guy Ricky's age is able to get a great pop by being a legend at his age, pulling that move off. That's what they used for the finish. It always looks impressive when Ricky does it because it's Ricky Morton. So unlike looking stupid like it does when you see it on AEW and other indies, it looks credible because it's Ricky Morton doing it. However, the way that they did it, you still had Robert and sorry, who was the tag partner on the Robert and Mark Briscoe, I think it was.
Jay was the one that was not pinned.
Yeah. So sorry, you still had those two. They were kind of in the corner of the camera shot and they were sort of in the way of the visual of the finish on the Canadian Destroyer.
Oh, the camera work was terrible. Yeah.
And I really feel like they really were trying to do this great tag team psychology match, but whether it didn't get enough time or whether Robert wasn't in proper ring shape, even for his age, because he hasn't wrestled in a while, I don't know, but it felt a little bit clunky to me. So it's getting a C+. I wanted it to be rated higher because this was the match I was most excited about going into the show, even though I knew Ricky and Robert weren't going to be fucking doing 450s and stuff. But I think that it left a little bit to be desired.
Right, fair enough. So I mean, it appears that Robert has worked 16 matches this year. One less than Brian Pillman Jr. has in AEW.
Wow.
And they also wrestled the day before this show, at the WrestleCade Super Show, team with George South and Kerry Morton against the Dawsons, John Schuyler, and the Beer City Bruiser. But anyway, I just wanted to check to see how much Robert's been working this year. So I thought the heat before the match was really good with, Mark on the microphone. When they got in the ring and the match started, I thought Ricky's moving better than Robert. Briscoes, I'll be honest with you, man, they own it as heels and as baby faces. They're very good. It was a very simple match. They beat them down. The referee was knocked out, but I felt like the match didn't really kick into another gear. I'm not expecting the world from the Rock and Roll Express this deep into their career. Of course not. But I don't know. Maybe I was expecting a little bit more suspense because the finish kind of surprised me a little bit.
I think I was expecting that big hot tag,
And I think we never really got that hot tag because the next thing we knew, Mark accidentally hit Jay with this chair shot and Jay's head went through the chair. I'm sure they cut like a hole in that chair. There's no way he's naturally would go through that chair.
I think it went through, man. I think it went through.
The Destroyer was great, but the camera work wasn't very good. So it was a cool finish. But yeah, That's like it's okay. You know, I'm not going to be too harsh on them. I fucking love rock and roll, and the Briscoes are my favorite tag team going today. Anyway, let's move forward, bro, because time is ticking, and you got work early in the morning.
I know.
Some nice words from X-Pac, Tully Blanchard, Mark Merrow, and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah.
He was so proud. He was insane proud, Ricky. Let's move forward. Okay, I want the floor here, and I want you to keep your mouth shut. Okay. The second last match on the show, Savannah Evans takes on, holy fuck, hello, Amber Nova. Jesus fucking Christ. That was my first note. Amber Nova, I've never heard of her before. Jooseyboy, you knew when you first saw her, oh, Karlifornia's gonna like her. You knew. And you can have no reaction there. You can try and not pop for me, being cute like that there. But I'm telling you right now, you knew it. And as soon as I saw her, I knew it too. Woo! Holy shit. Anyway, it looked like this was going to be just a big win there for Savannah Evans, who it's good to see her working a bit more now after being Tasha Steelz' hired muscle for, you know, pretty much a year's worth of our Impact Wrestling pay-per-view reviews. Fuck, man. It was really hard to concentrate on the match because I think I have a new favorite female pro wrestler. So somebody out there, please book Amber Nova against Camille, please. Would love to see it for more than one reason. Shane Douglas did say on commentary, I like what I'm saying, but he was talking about something to do with wrestling, and I agree with him, but it had nothing to do with wrestling. I don't care. One of the hottest chicks I've seen in fucking years, man. I'm serious. I'm serious. Woo! Anyway, great crossbody followed by us. She hit this crossbody, Amber Nova, and the camera was shooting, and as she stood up, there was a solid wedgie, which I appreciated. Anyway, great fire from her. I'll start to talk more about the wrestling. But great fire from her. Evans, I think, is starting to prove more and more the more I see her work. And that full Nelson slam was fucking harsh for the victory there. So I really did enjoy the matchup. And yes, I know I went on about Amber Nova and how hot she is more than the actual wrestling, but I don't care.
So I'm not allowed to fat shame Tommy Dreamer for being a fat fucking.
Well, I didn't shame
you. But who cares?
Hot people like to know that they're hot. That's why they became hot.
That's true. And fat people need to know that they're fat.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
I'm kidding, guys. I've dealt with weight issues. I'm clearly a
You should have seen him. You should have seen
him.
him.
I used to be a fucking like a mini John
podgy fucking fat fuck. I was too for a little while there, but I've slimmed down.
Yeah, we all know that weight issues are a big deal. I'm not poking fun at any of that. You know, eat healthy, be well, do you? But lose weight, Tommy.
All right, bro. What did you think of the ladies' match here?
I actually thought it was a good little match. I'm going to give it a C+. I also hadn't seen Amber Nova before, but, you know, I definitely think she's got a future in Impact or WWE.
Yeah, she's definitely got a future, bro.
I think Savannah Evans also reminds me in a good way of somebody like a legit Layla Hirsch or a Shayna Baszler. And it's just, I feel like I'm glad there are more women coming into the business like that are just, they're counterpoints to the beautiful, like, you know, supermodel type divas. Just the same as you have a pretty boy like The Rock or Randy Orton, you need to have those big tough bruisers in the men's division. This is the same equivalent here, except over here the women are still beautiful, but they're like, you have these performers that are more MMA influenced, and I feel like they add a lot of credibility to women's divisions across the business. And I feel like Savannah Evans is a great example of that style within women's wrestling. And I think this match may not have been the best that it could have been, but I think also that I see a lot of potential in both women that were in the match going forward.
Yeah, very good, bro. And before anyone, pipes up and says, "What do you mean, Savannah Evans? Are you saying that she's the opposite of pretty of Randy Orton and The Rock?" I guarantee you, Juicy Boy would 100% date Savannah Evans, no doubt about it.
Beautiful woman.
She's your kind of gal, bro.
Yeah, I love a full-figured gal, man.
Yeah,
Like,
and speaking of your kind of gal, my kind of gal is Amber Nova. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I'll stop edging and I'll get to the main event here, bro. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's return to the ring after 12 years after those two fantastic, amazing performances with Chris Jericho at WrestleMania and Backlash, which just blew everyone's mind. He's teaming with one of the best tag teams in the world right now, the horribly underutilized FTR, taking on Brock Anderson, Jay Lethal, and the surprise partner was none other than the national treasure, Nick Aldis. Juicy Boy, would you like to take the floor?
Oh, you can go ahead first for this one, man.
Okay, cool. All right. So I popped for Jay's entrance where he was coming out like it was WrestleMania 3. He's wearing the gear of WrestleMania 3. He's coming out on I don't know what it was. If it was a skateboard or I don't know what it was. It wasn't anything like what Randy came out on. That's for sure. But when he came out, it just totally dawned on me. This is why he's in the match. Because I totally forgot the reference as to why Jay was in the match. I was like, oh, Jay's in not only Ric Flair's last match, but this one. What's the because he's savage.
At first I thought it was just because he was a reliable person to put in there for that type of match. But then when I saw he was doing the Black Machismo, I was kind of like, oh. And then when I saw that he was doing the WrestleMania 3 thing, I was like, oh,
yeah, it's not just because Jay Lethal's real handy to have in there with guys who are way over the hill and can't move anymore. Because as we saw in this match, in comparison to Ric Flair's last match, Ricky Steamboat totally blew Ric Flair out of the water. And I'm sorry to say that, but Rick's a bit older and he couldn't really move, whereas Ricky could move. So I like that Arn Anderson faked being the third man in the match, went to take off his shirt, and thank God he didn't. But that's fat shaming. Shut up. Nick Aldis was the third man here, and I thought, you know what, for someone that put in so much time and effort with the NWA, I was so glad that Nick will be able to say I got to work for Ricky Steamboat, even if it was just for a short amount of time. Another note, FTR's theme is cute. I say that every time, but it really is. It's just cute. Ricky, I found it interesting that initially the rumors were that he was supposed to be a part of Ric Flair's last match, and he decided that he didn't want to do that because you know what? Perhaps he thought, you know what? I want something for me. It's always about Rick. It's always about putting Ric Flair on the pedestal and him being there to support him for his moments. How about Ricky Steamboat get his moment? We're getting it here right now, which I think is cool. I don't know if that was the motivation, but to me, that's just what I thought of. He's making his entrance. I'm like, he's moving well. He's walking quickly. This is good. I wish his son Richie could have been involved in some way. It's a shame about how his career panned out when he got injured.
I thought he was good too, because I was watching NXT weekly in the era when Richie Steamboat was working in WWE, and I thought there was a lot of potential there.
One thing I did feel bad about was Ricky Steamboat obviously didn't feel confident enough to go shirtless. I get it. But
I bet he could have, because I could see under that shirt that it wasn't hiding a beer gut or anything like that,
He probably wanted everyone just to remember the body the way that he used to be, I suppose.
Yeah.
I really don't have many more notes because honestly, I didn't want to sit there, keep on. I just wanted to focus on the match and enjoy myself. But it's actually disgusting how little AEW utilize FTR. They're not even in the fucking video game.
They're incredible. Yeah, that's gross. Fuck that, man. How do you
the fact that FTR aren't on every single pay-per-view is a complete mistake. A complete mistake.
Yeah.
So anyway, I love when Steamboat tagged in and all three opponents stopped in their tracks. Like, oh shit, he's still the same dragon. We don't know. He's moving pretty quick. When Steamboat hit that arm drag, he smiled. The wrestlers on the apron were popping. The heels were doing a good job holding it back, but FTR couldn't hold themselves back. They're just like, you could tell this meant a lot to them. They're in there teaming with Ricky Steamboat. This must have been so nice for them. I thought Cash Wheeler did a great job with his selling. I really, again, I popped for Ricky with his chops and when he hit the final chop, the big one on top of Arn Anderson on the ring apron, and down tumbles Arn. Very cool. I thought Ricky's selling during the sleeper hold was great. There was a nice high back body drop as well. And I was really surprised by the finish with the stereo figure fours.
I liked it.
I thought it was cool. Deep down, I wanted a crossbody, but maybe he just didn't want to do that. But that's okay. It was a nice finish. They all tapped. And yeah, honestly, I hate to keep comparing it, but they're two people that were tied to the hip for many years.
The parallels
compare him to Ric Flair.
Dude, they trained at the same camp. They trained at the same camp with Vern Gagne in this, like, basically within a couple of years of each other. And their careers have parallel. Like, when Ric Flair was still like the plane crash era, you know, and heading once he came back from that point and started becoming the Nature Boy. That's when Ricky Steamboat was in his tag team with Jay Youngblood. You know, the parallels are just endless. So yes, there is going to be comparisons. I'm sorry to jump in there, but I don't think that you should have to justify making the comparison, because Ric Flair made the choice to have this match, and both guys were given an equal opportunity and an equal stage to come back and show what they could do.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Ricky did retire many years before Rick did, so maybe Rick's body was just more beat up than Ricky's. But anyway, bro, your turn. Tell me how you felt about the main event here. Steamboat, FTR, against Brock Anderson, Nick Aldis, and Jay Lethal.
I actually really enjoyed it. I'm giving the main event, the return of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I'm giving it a B+. I think that it was... See, because I definitely wasn't expecting him to come back and do what he did in 2009. And like, see, because Ricky the Dragon Steamboat retired when I was 1 year old, right? So for people at home, he retired in 1994. I was always a fan of his through seeing a lot of the history and old matches and footage and so forth. But I never really sat down and watched him wrestle until he came back in 2009. When I saw how good he was there, I was like, I've got to go back and watch some of his classic matches. So I went back and watched him versus Flair at Chi-Town Rumble in 1989 for NWA. Yeah. Him versus Randy Savage, obviously, WrestleMania 3. I watched him versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, WCW, just to kind of get a crash course in how good this guy was throughout his career. And when he came back in 2009, he became my favorite wrestler, even though he was coming out of retirement, because I was like, man, this dude is incredible. I instantly see, even though I didn't grow up in that time, why this guy is a legend. Just the colors of the costume, the theme music. He's a very... Ricky Steamboat comes across like a very likable guy. There's a real sense of connection between him and the audience when he performs. Just the facial expressions, and you can see the desperation in his eyes, and you can see just everything he does. Like when he does a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat chop, it's not a hollow imitation of what it used to be. It's like he can't do all the same things physically that he used to be able to do, but the stuff that he can do, it's the same old Ricky the Dragon Steamboat just coming out there. The fact that he only did the one arm drag, or maybe only a couple, I think that was probably a smart move, because for those who have never had any wrestling training in the ring, arm drags are fairly easy to actually execute in terms of once you've got the guy's arm and you take him over. What is taxing about delivering arm drags is obviously the cardio of getting up quickly, switching 180 degrees by the time the guy comes running back from the other side and giving him another one. So I think that it's a good idea that they kept it with the one, and then they just had him hold in that arm, which is a classic Ricky Steamboat thing. You could really see Ricky starting to kind of feel his odds a bit more as this thing went on. I could not be happier with what I've seen. I have actually softened a little bit on Ric Flair's last match, not because I think it is better than I thought. But because just for what it was, I feel like it's okay. You know, he threw some chops. He did the figure four. I still would have preferred to not have him come back, though. I think that the way that they finished his career off in WWE was perfect. But in this case, with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I feel like, yeah, he could have left it at the comeback against Chris Jericho. But the fact that he felt like after his health troubles with his brain aneurysm, which for anyone that doesn't know, several years back when Ricky Dragon Steamboat was one of the major trainers for NXT and Florida Championship Wrestling, he did go through some health troubles, which was going to limit his ability to physically be involved, because at that point in time when he suffered those health issues, this was after his return matches against Chris Jericho. And in his role as NXT trainer, he was regularly in the ring, actually training and physically doing stuff. So
Yeah.
I was a little bit concerned when I found out he was coming out of retirement, but obviously he felt like this was a challenge that he wanted to do. And I think that he did tremendous. I think he has nothing to be ashamed of. I think he came out, he looked in tremendous shape. He looked like he was having a blast out there. The opponents looked like they were having a blast. I think that Aldis was the perfect choice for the mystery partner. And I also enjoyed the fact that for Brock Anderson, especially, this is a chance to kind of rub shoulders with the big boys here and kind of, because fuck knows AEW's not doing anything with him either, which is a shame because I think there's potential for him too. I think Impact would probably be a great fit for Brock Anderson, to be honest. But yeah, him being in such a high profile match, wow, what an honor for him. And yeah, I really, when this was finished, when that final stereo figure fours with the tap outs happened, I was like I'm satisfied. Like that was good. You know, that's what you want, is for that. The reason why we are covering this event right now is because Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is on it.
Absolutely.
Yes. And now, because Ricky the Dragon Steamboat did this event, there's a possibility we, you know, come back to this promotion, Big Time Wrestling, in the future. And depending on what kind of stuff they book, and review another one of their shows in the future. That is the benefit of using a legend or a top name in the main event of your indie show.
Yeah, it's a good call, because this is the first time we've covered a BTW show.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts on the main event, and those are pretty much constituting my final thoughts as well. I don't have much to add to that.
Go for it, bro.
Yeah, so I'm giving the show a final rating of 7.5 out of 10. Fun factor wise, I probably would rate it even higher, but if I'm trying to rate it objectively with how I would normally rate shows, I'm going with a 7.5. Probably a 6.5 pure wrestling, but if you add in the fun factor and the enjoyment of the whole thing, 7.5. Big props to Shane Douglas once again as we wrap up. He needs to be in the booth more often.
I agree, bro. So yeah, I'm gonna echo those sentiments. I was also thinking 7.5 out of 10. Really enjoyable show. Knew what it was going to be walking into it. So you know, the Dragon, just so great to see him performing again, and very nice to meet the one and only Amber Nova with my eyes on this show.
You didn't meet. She doesn't know who you are.
I met her with my eyes. I saw her and I met my eyes with her, and I loved it. What about you? Do you think she was hot?
Yeah, I thought she was all right.
All right, Jooseyboy. Well, thank you so much for taking the time for doing this review here with me tonight, brother.
Yeah, no worries, mate. It was a good show.
Yep. Thank you, bro. And thank all of you out there for checking out our review show here of the return of the Dragon, the Big Time Wrestling. I'm Karlifornia. This is Jooseyboy. Hamana, 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 Amber Nova, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.